YouTube? Above Average Cody here with everything controller settings here in Season 5 of Halo Infinite. We're going to cover my sensitivity, my dead zones, my button layout, even what I run on my controller. I'm going to try to cover it all for you guys because everybody has been asking me all of these questions, so I'm going to cram it all into this one video, and I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. So let's dive right into the most important thing here, guys, my controller settings on the game. Starting off, we're going to skip button layout because I'm going to go over that right before we talk about the controller. Let's focus on what I actually run for pure gameplay settings. Now, the only things I want to talk about here are hold to crouch. I prefer to hold it rather than have it on toggle. This makes for much less button presses when you're doing the crouch strafes or even bagging somebody, frankly. The hold to crouch just makes it much less faster and is less button presses. I have hold to zoom because, again, just less button presses. Getting scope knocked out, it's pretty much automatic to zoom back in. So I prefer to have hold to zoom checked. Hold to sprint I have off. Maintain sprint I have on. This basically means that if you're already sprinting and you jump up onto a ledge, you maintain that sprint. This helps with making certain jumps like the pizza jump on streets because you have to already be sprinting, and if you had to click the stick in again to restart your sprint, that would be really tedious. I have auto clamber off, so if I want to cancel a clamber, I want to jump up and peek a ledge, that is not on. Step jump on so that you don't jump the max distance every single time. Saves time, saves time in the air, and all that stuff, guys. Zoom reset behavior. This was the last setting to be added to the game in Season 4. That is worth mentioning. I don't believe there are any new settings here in Season 5, guys. And more importantly, I have not changed anything with my settings. But again, I'm just covering everything. I'm going to go through and talk about kind of why my settings are what they are. So zoom reset I have on legacy, which means no matter what scope you have the sniper or anything in, it defaults back to whatever default is, which is 5x, I believe, on the sniper, rather than keeping the last zoom sense that you had when you were scoped in. Now, the meat and potatoes here, guys. Again, I have not changed a single thing. This is not a video saying, here's my new amazing controller settings or something. This is just what I really like to run. I have finally found something I really like, and I made 0 changes for the Bandit, and that is 3 look excel, 2.5 horizontal, and 3.5 vertical. Guys, I love this setting. I swear by going lower on the look, but that is because I do run a raised stick. We will talk about that more later, but I have to mention it. I feel like this is why my numbers are so low. A lot of people say, oh, don't go that low, it's bad for your aim. I run a raised right stick. It gives me a lot more control over it, and it's a lot touchier. So 2.5, 3.5, if you were to put me on a default stick, a default height stick, this would probably be more like 4.5, 5.5 if you made me guess. But I do like the 3 look excel right dead center. It doesn't accelerate too fast. It doesn't accelerate too slow. And then again, I prefer the lower sensitivity, guys, and it's even more important now with the Bandit. The tracking your reticle over the enemy and being able to carefully line up that final headshot is very, very important with the new starting weapon in ranked. So I recommend a lower sensitivity. It's not for everybody, guys. Controller settings are personal preference. Whatever works for you is it. This is just what works best for me. I love it. I have not made a change, I don't think, since late Season 3, maybe even early Season 4, and I don't plan on making a change to these anytime soon. Zoom levels, I run all default, guys. It's just muscle memory. I don't like to change this stuff because it kind of messes up what I come to expect. I saw some people changing the 1.6x because that is what is on the Bandit scope. But personally, I am having 0 issue with any of this. I just leave it on 1 times multiplier. I recommend not playing with it, and I've never played with it in my entire time on this game. Now, on to trigger dead zones. these are all default, guys. 0%, 55%, 0%, 55%. I do have trigger stops on the controller, which again, we'll talk about in a bit. So I play with my triggers from there. Only reason you'd ever want to touch these is if you're having issues with full auto weapons shooting or the plasma pistol not charging, which I did used to have problems with. These would be there to fix those. Dead zones, guys, I really do wish I had some super special reason I had these at the values they're at. I've tried a lot of different things. I took a lot of recommendations from other players, and this is just what I've come to do. Center dead zone on the move, 5.5. Max input, 15. Axial, 3. Max input, I've run it at 15. Fast strafe, I've run it at 0. Slower strafe, and I actually went back to 15 because it's a faster strafe. For some people, it may throw off their aim. For me, I like it. I'm used to it. I run the 15. This will give you the fastest strafe possible. Dead zones, guys, a lot of explaining that I don't want to get into because this is not explaining the settings. I've got a ton of videos of that, guys, in my controller settings videos. But basically, wherever the stick is not moving and not registering. So a bigger dead zone will allow you to move the stick further without it being registered, which is why it's called a dead zone. It's the zone where the stick does nothing. So you can play with this. So if you grip your controller really tight and you move the stick and those subtle movements throw you off, you can raise your dead zone and things like that. This can also affect drift, give you drift, or get rid of drift, so on and so forth. And now the look thumbstick, guys, 0 center dead zone, 6 max input, 6 axial. Again, somebody recommended these to me, and ever since then, the move stick just feels so fluid. It feels smooth. By all means, take these, try them, let me know what you think. This is just what I run. I really can't explain it much more in depth than that, not just in the essence of time. I just really can't properly explain to you why these settings feel as good as they do, but this is what I like, and I have not changed these, I don't think, since Season 2 of Halo Infinite, so these have been the same for quite some time, guys. Everything else down here, buttons are default. All I did, I believe, was I changed my switch grenade to left on the D-pad, and my ping is up on the D-pad, so that is why, when we get to the button layout, it does say custom instead of whatever button layout I actually run. Worth mentioning, field of view, guys, 97. People love asking what the field of view is. Everything else, I'll just give you a quick scroll here because I know there will be questions about the video settings. Offsets, guys, I run positive or negative 100, negative 100, positive 100. I feel like this makes the gun the smallest it can possibly be on the screen, which lets me see more of the actual screen and not so much of my gun. I run this for every single gun. So minus 100, minus 100, positive 100. I think that covers everything. If I missed anything here, you'll have seen me scroll over it. Put this back to local. But basically, guys, controller button layout, it is default, or what I call the Call of Duty buttons. Basically, right trigger shoot, right bumper use equipment, left bumper throw grenade, left trigger zoom, A, B, X, Y, jump, crouch and slide, reload. It's really nothing special. Like I said, I believe this is default for Halo Infinite. I think that's what it is called, but I do not know. Again, I call it the Call of Duty settings because it is what is default to Call of Duty. So that is my button layout, guys. And now I will give all y'all the controller setup here, guys. For a controller, I run an Xbox Elite Series 2 wired on the PC. I will unplug it just to show you guys what I run for hardware. I do run all 4 paddles on the Elite Series 2. I run the trigger stops halfway, so not full on and not full off, I guess. So right in the middle setting there. The sticks, guys, I run 2 default height sticks with 1 raised control freak and 1 regular height control freak. And these are the Galaxies, if you are curious what they are called. I run the regular D-pad, and basically, button mapping, guys, I run A, B, X, Y on my back paddles. So this one is, so I run basically A and B on my right hand. It's really hard to show you guys, I'm sorry, and X and Y on my left hand. So basically, My right hand, I'm a righty, guys. It is better at pushing the movements that I use a lot. So my jump and my slide. And then my left hand, not quite as adept at hitting the paddles, but still pretty good. So that is my X, which is my reload. And then my Y, which is my switch weapon. Reason I do this is so that I never ever have to take my thumb off of the aim stick to hit these buttons. A lot of people like to play claw. I could never swing claw. It's very hard for me to play. It's just uncomfortable. So I literally run ABXY all on my back paddles so that I never ever have to take my hand off of the aim stick to get up to that ABXY. I feel like this is plenty of buttons. The only thing is the struggle of ping. But again, I put ping up on my D-pad, so I just basically flick off of my move very quickly to go ping, and then I'm back up to the move stick. Because again, I never want to take my hand off of the aim stick. Lastly, you can tension these sticks up and down. I run them right in the middle, just like my trigger stops. I believe there's 3 settings. I run them on the middle setting. So not the loosest thumbstick, but also not the tightest thumbstick that there is. Guys, I think that covers literally everything. I think I got this done in about 10 minutes because, again, a lot of people ask about the controller. They ask about the FOV. They ask about the Sense. I wanted to cram it all into one video for Season 5 here. Again, I made 0 changes to my controller settings. I can't tell you how good that feels. But the biggest thing to remember, guys, I'm not saying take these settings and they're going to work for you. I'm not saying go low sensitivity 111 and it's going to work for you. I'm not saying any of that. It is all personal preference. I merely use my settings that took me a very long time to find as kind of a guideline to kind of hopefully teach you guys on how to better find what is comfortable for you. So I hope this one helped you out, guys. If you want a more in-depth explanation, I have done a million settings videos on this channel by now. You can find them in the Halo Infinite playlist. And yeah, guys, that's my setup. That is what I am running on Halo Infinite. I have not changed anything in a while, and I do not plan on changing anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the channel. Tons of Halo Infinite content. We literally stream it 5 days a week, guys, and it is a great community here on the channel. So be a part of it. Hit that sub button. Leave a like on the video, guys. Leave a comment. Any questions, anything, hit me down below in the comment section. Outside of that, guys, channel membership, super thanks. If you'd like support monetarily, helps me out a lot as a content creator, but please do not feel like you have to. But alrighty, guys, hope you enjoyed this settings video. It's always highly requested, and yeah, hopefully you learn something from it. Guys, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next video.